It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined tonight by Warren, Dave, Pete, and maybe Keith. Before we kick off, lads, Crosby Fons a nice little nice little story. Yeah, he wants to go for a walk around Goodison when it was quiet for the last time before going back to Spain after the derby, and they let him go in. And he's got a picture of himself in the street end, and the ground's empty. It's lovely walking around Goodison when it's empty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really nice, calm feeling that you don't get any other time at all.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And even just walking around the outside of it, never mind the inside, the outside of it as well when it's quiet. Yeah, it's got a real aura about it.
Yeah, defo. So yeah, nice one for sending that Crosby fans, and good luck that the game might go ahead tomorrow, and good luck getting home if you're flying after the game because that might be off as well. And one for Mike from last week, when Mike said Everton can Everton surprise us? They finally surprised us, didn't they, in the week with that win? Can they do it again? Though Toffee Talk said after a convincing win over Wolves, would anyone bet on us going undefeated against the top four in our upcoming fixtures? It really would be Everton in a nutshell. Oh, and then get beat at home to Forest. I'd
Oh, I
have
could
that.
see that happening. I could see
I
that
could.
happening. Us
I'd
getting
take it though.
positive results. I'd take it, but we're not going to get them going beaten against the top four. It's not happening. We're not good
No,
enough.
would be funny though, wouldn't it?
It'd be great.
Plus, it'd be one more point than I'm expecting. Well, one
Well,
more point than I'm hoping because it'd be
well,
4 points in there.
we'd be all right, wouldn't we? With the we'd be on above average of the expected losses and the
Well,
expected
exactly.
wins. So
And,
Yeah, but
and that's
Dice
the
should still be in charge, wouldn't
and
he?
that's the main thing. Um,
mm.
right. It might be the derby tomorrow. We don't know. There's severe weather warnings. It could get very, very wind. But we'll get into some derby chat anyway. So Liam has asked, uh, in the spirit of the derby, which player of theirs, past or present, do you hate the most? And he's put the Nicky the, which is obviously the right answer. But anyone else? Dave, go ahead.
Um, I always hated always, and there's a really quite ridiculous decision why I couldn't stand Milan Barros for them. I could not stand them, and someone's put a video out on Twitter on the worst sendings off. Do you remember he got sent off at Anfield against us for just
Oh yeah.
throwing in a ridiculous 2-footer? They were already, I think we were winning. They were winning 3-0 or 3-1. And I remember all the lads that I went to school with back then, or we just finished school. Do you know when you try and copy a player? Do you know what I mean? For how they dress and the boots they wear and all that.
Yeah.
He used to fold over the what is it? When you got a pair of shorts on, what are they called? Where it's
The
like,
waistband.
yeah, the waistband.
So your shorts go shorter.
So he folded it over because there was a little white trimming inside it for obviously no reason whatsoever because it's not meant to show. And he'd
Yeah.
do that all the time. It was a bit akin to Robbie Fowler's fucking nose piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? And I despised him for that. He was absolutely shit, and
See,
yet they properly loved him. It was
this is what
really,
it's
and he
about.
played in the Champions League final for them as
Yeah.
well.
That's a completely irrational hatred, and
Yeah,
they're the best ones. Stuff like that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't. It's like a lot of people will say Gerrard, a lot of people will say Carragher, Torres, all that sort of thing. But mine's Milan Barros.
Yeah. Neil Ruddock, I think, was mine. I hated him at Tottenham. And then when he signed for the Reds, it was just like, oh my God, why does this have to happen?
That
He was
own, that
just,
own goal was a belter, though, Les.
oh, it was, yeah. I think we get into that later on. It was a belter, yeah. But he was just such a white boy geezer, wasn't he? He was dead annoying. Still is.
Got a
Warren.
story
He's not
about it.
funny either. He's not
Oh,
funny.
sorry, Warren. I'll go to Pete first. Pete, what's your story about Neil Ruddock? And answer this question. Actually, sorry, first, I'll double it up with Gary's. So he said, with us playing Big Red tomorrow, which famous Red is the biggest twat on the planet? You can't include Aldo. He's taking a lot of fun out of that for us,
There's
Gary. But
plenty
yeah,
to choose from, aren't there? Let's be honest.
we'll put
Yeah.
them both in because they're pretty much the same thing. So
How long,
just go
how
on,
long
Pete,
have we
sorry.
got? Yeah, Neil Ruddock. So random one. Me and Sarah, Sarah Halpin went down for a Channel 4 thing a few years ago, and it was actually Derby related. So I had to have it was for Channel 4. What was it called? A real football fan show, and I had to have like a face off against a red. So it was like we had to have like almost like a battle where we just ripped each other for like 90 seconds and a little back and forward and all that. And there was the old fella who ended up robbing my line and going. And every time there's a derby on where he says about the afterbirth thing, he basically robbed my lines from
Really?
yeah. It came out like 2 days earlier. It went round all over Twitter, and then he basically tried to recreate that, which is why it's yeah. But anyway, so Neil Ruddock was the guest on that show, and I ended up chatting to him before, and it was dead funny because I was talking to Sarah, saying, "Oh, Neil Ruddock, yeah, he's a big lad, isn't he?" Sort of thing, and I said something like, "Oh, he scored a great goal for us though in the derby, didn't he?" And he came up behind me, and he was like he went, "What did you say?" And I went, "All right, Neil, lad, yeah, that was a great goal you scored for us in the derby, wasn't it?" And he was like, but we ended up having like a load of like, a bit of back and forward with him. And he was actually really sound,
I was going to say, you're going
He,
to tell me he's all right now, isn't he?
he was actually genuine. And he actually said, like, he actually really likes Everton fans because they give a bit of, they give a bit of shit back as well. And it was just a really like good experience. But as I say, and then during when they were recording, when he was getting interviewed, he got asked about Everton, and he was really nice about Everton. Then he looked over to us and went, "See."
Oh well, I feel
But
terrible. I was an Aggie
Neil Ruddock is
18-year-old when he signed
actually,
for them, so that's me ghetto for that.
but yeah, Neil Ruddock is actually not a bad fella. You're not beating Barnby though. Barnby's just an
No.
absolute. I hate him. I don't hate many people in the world. I don't feel like there's enough time in your life for hate. But Nick Barnby, yeah, I've got a lot of time to hate him, prick.
Warren.
Do you know, I've just been looking then because I like you sort of get clouded in hatred at all of them, don't you? But past wise, there's two who do my head in. One was Henderson because he give it all at, didn't he, about LGBTQ, and he was the spokesman, and he was like he was the self-appointed spokesman for the Premier League and about inclusivity and all this, and then he goes and chases the money in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's typical them, isn't it? Just make themselves to be like top of the bloody, up on the pedestal and whatever, and then they go and do that. So that's typified it. Couldn't stand Paul Ince because I hated the way he marched around and thought he was it. And that great video of Duncan just throwing him and putting him on his arse, that's brilliant. That. But
Just
you
on
know
Paul
what?
Ince, did he always have a dead wonky eye? Because if you
I
look
don't
at him
think he
now,
did. I don't
one
think he
eye's
did.
facing the other way completely, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. One eye's looking at the Whittle, the other eye's looking at the town, isn't it?
Where
Yeah.
you three.
Maybe Doug
Yeah.
saw him in the tunnel afterwards as well. Then.
Yeah. And that's it. So I couldn't stand him because he used to give it but the one Barnby, yeah, obviously, but it's a current player, Andy Robertson. I hate him. I
Yeah.
cannot stand him. And I'm not hard by any stretch of the imagination, but he puts on that hard man act. I reckon I could have him easily because I think he's an absolute fraud.
He
And I
is.
can't stand him. That one where he's pointing and laughing at Pickford because Pickford stood up to him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, mate, do that at Goodison and see how long you last. Because he
Yeah.
did it at Anfield, didn't he, with all the Wolves behind him.
Shithouse, yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
absolute, yeah. He's
well,
just,
You
that's
and
know,
he's
that's what
horrible.
someone does when they shit the bed when someone kicks off, isn't it?
Yeah,
They just like panic and laugh, maybe do something like that. That's definitely
yeah.
what that was. I just had a
yeah.
thought. Craig Johnston, probably a bit out of you, bit before your time, lads, but
Oh, what a
Christ, he
surprise.
was annoying.
It's the Aussie
Yeah,
fella.
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
Henderson do didn't he start celebrating when that goal didn't count? He started
Yeah.
Yeah,
giving it loads, didn't he? It was
Yeah.
in COVID, wasn't he? He started
Yeah.
giving it
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
come.
the
I'm gonna come
camera
back
and
to.
it got
I'm
this a
gonna come back
laugh.
to that later as well.
The
that kid
best
as
thing
well.
with the best
Boom,
thing with
Hendo scored.
the best one with Robertson though. I don't know if you've seen the video. It's fucking brilliant. Someone's sitting in not
Robbo.
your area because you're in the middle of the park end, aren't you, Les?
Yeah. No,
What
I'm,
is
I'm
it?
right at the back.
Oh, yeah, but in central back.
No, no, right over. I'm right by your stand. I'm right by the main stand.
Oh, yeah. So the
Yeah, yeah.
opposite side to yours, right by the away fans. Someone's filming the corner that they take, and Robertson's taking it, and it was just like, have you seen Happy Gilmore? You've
Yeah.
seen Happy Gilmore, yeah. This is
Go
making
for.
this will make sense now, right? When he goes on the putting thing, the kids putting thing, and the clown starts laughing at him when he puts the ball in. That big clown starts
Yeah.
laughing at him. Yeah, it sounded exactly like that because Robertson comes over to take the corner, and he's like loads of him saying, "You're fucking shit, you're shit," and you just hear this big booming voice going, "Ah, you're fucking shit." Robertson takes the corner. It doesn't even make it to the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
You
He
just hear
just.
the fella. You just hear the fella going again, ha 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 ha, just pointing and laughing at him. I love any shit like that, you know,
Yeah,
from
that was the last
childish
derby,
stuff.
wasn't it? That was last
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Aside from players, then celebrity Reds, Gary
Oh God.
Barlow.
I just always go back to the Dear Tom and whatever it was video where they brought out every
Oh, the
fan
who's
they
who.
possibly. Oh my God! But Barry Grant on a boat in the Mediterranean.
Liverpudlians worldwide want our club back.
We want
And
our club back.
yeah, that was just like that was the who's who of every possible celebrity Reds you could get. Pete Price was on it. Pete Price doesn't even like football.
Yeah.
And he was on there, and just you watch that, and party is watching, and this is why I always say I don't care how bad we ever get, and I don't care how many leagues or trophies they ever win. That video alone, thank God I'm not one. I can feel myself getting angry, you know, feel myself getting wound up and ready for tomorrow now. Oh, thank God I'm not one of them. Honestly, let me. I'd rather be a blue any day. Seriously,
I
keep
am.
everything you've got.
Oh,
Honest to God.
I am still up for a Dear Mr. Mashiri video though, if anyone fancies it.
Les,
Uh-huh.
I think you loved that video for so long.
Oh,
Did
I
you
love
laugh
it.
at that, mate?
I
It's
love,
it is
honestly.
it is
But that's
amazing.
isn't that the thing about it though? It's you get angry and you're induced with anger watching it, but you're also it's the funniest
Oh,
thing as well.
it's McCulloch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's McCulloch
I know. Well,
and
when
he stood there with Rave on. And bear in mind, for anyone who's not seen it, he's talking about two fellas have taken over the club who admittedly did sort of run it into the ground a bit, or nearly did, and they were terrible owners. But this analogy is quite something else. And
I wanted to say to Tom X, imagine if your family, which is what Liverpool Football Club is to most people, especially the real fans who go home and away, it's their family. It's like you're raping all of them at once over a long period of time and getting away with it.
yeah, no need,
Serious?
don't want to overstate things like, but come on, mate, it's
Mate,
not that bad. We'll move
mate,
on.
I was just gonna say finally in that though, the fella that produced that when I was at City with Saint and Snods, he came in because I don't know where he was from. He's like I don't know where he wasn't a Scouser. He wasn't from Merseyside, and he comes in, and he was the most arrogant bellend you've ever met in your life, right? His
sure.
second name's Jeffries, something Jeffries. It is I don't know. He might be a famous director right now, but he came in like, and he's saying all of this. You know, it's the biggest club in the world, and it doesn't deserve to be treated this way and all this. And he said that, you know, I've got a load of celebrities and all that, but there's a couple of them on there who I'm like, these aren't famous people. And if you watch it, there's a big fella on there, and he just goes, "You've taken everything," like, and it takes about two. Yeah, is this it now?
No,
Are
hang
you
on. Let
putting
me.
it on there? Oh, you
No, go
putting
on.
it on there.
Keep going.
Yeah. So this fella does it. They've taken everything like that, and you're like, it's just so random. And there's this other fella on it who's from
That's it.
Norway. There it is. Yeah, that's the bottom of the tower at City as well. But yeah, there's a Norwegian lad on there as well who I went to uni with.
Oh, the
Again,
impressionist fella's on there as well.
Oh, he
yeah.
is,
Just
yeah.
shit impressions. Oh,
I've just
Oh,
ruined Warren's night there. Sorry, mate.
it's all right.
was Farley on it?
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, I thought it would have been before this time. Now,
Yeah, no, he was on it.
Barry Grant.
He was on there.
Barry
Two
Grant
He was
takes
on.
the show, though, mate.
What is it?
He was on there
Texans,
pretending to
two
be funny.
acids.
Wasn't good at that
Yeah.
either.
No.
Barry Grant on
Jimmy Cork was
a
on it.
boat.
Yeah, Jimmy's on there. Yeah.
Barry Grant on a boat in the middle of the
Oh, that's the best.
Mediterranean, mate.
Everyone else was like in a studio or something, and it just cuts to Barry Grant.
It was
Anyway,
like he was still filming.
oh,
Brookie.
he's still Barry Grant there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll move on from that. Mike,
Claire
how early are
Sweeney
you
by
starting
him.
drink? How early are you starting drinking on Saturday? Even you, Pete, will include you in this, and you don't drink.
Don't drink. I'll be down. I'll be up early and down there, but I'll yeah, don't drink.
Alan
So-
said Friday night.
No. Yeah.
Back in the day, it would have been stay out.
Yeah.
It would have been finish work on the Friday, get to the
Yeah.
pub, get to town, get home after party, leave to go to Brick at about 9, and then stay out all day. But yeah, that's why I don't drink anymore.
And that's what put you off drinking. I'll tell you what, we'll flip that question then now, because Tangled Up in Blues has asked, who's your favourite cop-out? I've got beloved family and friends, you know.
Yeah.
We've all got beloved family and friends. Bless them.
There's a
That's
fella
a
I work.
cop out, that literally.
There's a
That's a
fella
you
I
can't say family and friends. That's just the
All
there's a
right,
fella I
so
work with from down here. He's down this way, and he's good with. I always wind him up because I was winding him up today, going. So I was saying about I'm travelling up in the morning and whatever, and I says you'll have it hard tomorrow picking up your Sky remote, won't you, watching the match? And he takes things like that in good heart, so he's all right. But I don't know. I don't want to admit I like any of them on
I
Derby
don't want to
weekends. You know what I
go
mean?
overboard on the sound for the red, do we?
No,
My,
they are.
my bosses are ready sound.
They're all
I think,
tolerant. They're tolerable. Some of them aren't they? You can be
yeah,
tolerant of them.
I think as well, like you can, like you said there, Dan, where you are, one, I take it that lad's not a scouser, is he?
No,
You make that, see that, I think you can probably put that in two categories, really, can't you? You can put,
yeah,
like, local ones versus ones from
yeah.
afar, which obviously they get ripped for having thousands of them, millions of them or whatever. And I think that, like, I'm trying to think of the most famous ones that I'm trying to think seem all right, but I'm struggling to think which one could be like that. I found out, and I think he's a bit of a bell end anyway. I used to like him, Lee Westwood, the golfer.
oh yeah.
He anyone who follows golf, he decided to piss off and go to
Oh, Liv, wasn't he?
the live. Yeah,
Decided,
yeah.
didn't
He
he? Yeah.
decided to do that. It turned into a proper dickhead, like a proper dickhead. And he made Steve Hothersall, who runs the lounges at Anfield there, he sent me a photo of him next to Lee Westwood. And I was like, I looked at it and it properly, like, I started like wanting to get my golf clubs out and start like hitting the wall with them. It just, honestly, him, Tyrrell Hatton as well, I'm pretty certain he's a red, and he's got to be the biggest bell end that's ever played the game of golf. If anyone watches it, if he misses a putt, he starts like breaking them and all that, and starts twatting himself on the head. That type of thing. I like it when he doesn't make a putt. You know what I mean? I like seeing him annoyed. I like him playing shit. But yeah, I think like you say, Les. I think that's right. I think like most of my family is me. Since my mum passed away, there was only me and my mum who were blues. So Haley's a red, sort of, because of my mum. All of her side of the family are reds. So there's only me, and that's it. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, it's a strange one, but obviously you get the rights like we did in April. You're absolutely buzzing when you go to see them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Right. Last Derby question, I think. From Mike, love this one. If you could change one Derby result, what would it be?
It's a good
Go
question.
ahead, Pete.
Um, one derby result. I'll tell you one that really annoyed me was when we had Lukaku, the 3-all at Goodison. I know it's not an important one. I mean, the obvious one would be the semi-final, wouldn't it? If we would have just held on for that one for
Which
that
one?
1-0 lead, the one where
Yelovich.
Distan messed tripped over
Yeah.
the ball towards the end. We were winning 1-0 and then Andy Carroll scored. I think Suarez scored the equaliser.
Yeah, you
And then
did.
we went 1-0 up with Yelovich, then Suarez scored the equaliser, then Andy Carroll scored at the end.
That was that
That one,
stupid
if we
free
could have
kick
just
Coleman
held
gave
on.
away, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we had them. We
Bellamy
had them
puts
on
the
the ropes
ball in.
there. They hadn't created anything. We had them. All day there. And then as soon as Distan messed up, like he came over at the end and he put his hands up to us to apologise. And I think that was like that hurt that one.
Mm.
And again, there's another one which is the 3-all Goodison, because I feel like on that day we went 3-2 up, didn't we? And I think Sturridge scored,
Sturridge, yeah.
equalised quite late on.
Yeah.
Lukaku
Tim
scored to
in
make it
goal,
3
wasn't it?
for us.
Tim in goal.
It was.
Was it? Yeah,
Fucked it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember like coming out of that game. It was the most disappointed I've been with the draw in a derby, because I felt like we should have won that one. Was that the one as well where they had one disallowed like right at the end and it was dodgy as anything?
No, I think
It
that
was
was
like
2-2 a season later, I think.
2-2, yeah, season later,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right, because that was Gladys Street then, wasn't it? It was right in
Yeah.
front of me. But
A
Lukaku's
little
goal,
Gerard's knee
Gladys Street,
slide, wasn't it?
was it? Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, in front of the
Yeah.
park end.
Did he
Yeah.
do two? Did he do that twice, Gerard? There was
No,
what?
it was
Wasn't
only
the one
that
where
one when he
Suarez
ran the length
was offside?
of the pitch and it got given offside and everyone
Yeah.
was giving him shit because he ran the length of the pitch
Right,
to
yeah.
celebrate goal
I've got it in my head that Suarez
in the
had a
rain.
similar thing where he had a goal disallowed. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. So there's two for you.
Sound yeah, I'll take them. Quite a few people said 2012. I can see why. Dave?
Yeah, I'll try and alter that then because 2012 was just it was really that hit you in the balls. That was as hard as it was compared to that game where we lost against Man United when they scored in the
Martial.
last minute. Yeah. The one that I'm going to go for is more recent. It's when Cody's goal was disallowed
Oh yeah,
by. I mean, it wasn't offside. And that was for the winner as well, wasn't it? It
yeah.
was also the game when Mope missed something that our cat could score, where he's about 6 yards out and either hits it straight at the keeper, or I've tried to get it out of my mind, or blast it over.
Yeah,
Uh,
so Allison kind of just makes himself big like that, and he pretty much hits it at his arm. He
yeah,
could hit it
he's got
anywhere else, and he
yeah,
hit it at his arm.
he's
Just
got
had to roll
20
it
a
in, didn't
24-foot line where he can put that ball in, even through his legs or whatever, and he just hits it straight at him, which is an absolute pile of shite. But I mean, there's a lot that you can go through there. I mean, there's so many over the years where you think we've played really well there, not gotten anything from them, or a draw against them. Um, I'm sure there's one at Anfield I could probably think of. Think when we finished season, we finished fourth. It was the season when we won 3-0 at Goodison. We played them again, obviously at Anfield in the winter, and we drew 0-0. And I think it was Johnson again, and we have it's a really good chance towards the end of the game, and Johnson hits it straight. It would have been their keeper then. Dudez wasn't Dudez. What's his fucking name?
Rainer
Dudez.
would have
Tuesday.
been
Oh,
Rainer or
Rainer.
Duda.
Oh, yeah, it would have been Rainer. Yeah,
Reina was
and
the
he
one
hits
doing
it.
the juggling act, wasn't he, for
It's
Johnson?
such a
Yeah,
chance
grabbed his
that
head.
yeah. Do you know those little ones that stick in your mind? They're harder to take them when you get battered by them for some reason because you think that's just the sliding door moment in a match where you think it's like tomorrow. We go out in that game tomorrow and someone misses a sitter. Calvert-Lewin puts one wide when he's 1-on-1 or whatever. You think that's it. I'm like that
Yeah,
with derbies. When stuff like that happens, even if it's 2 minutes in, I'm like, that's it. It's gone. It's gone
yeah,
now. And that's why I'm sort of referring to those situations there in the ones that
yeah.
I was
It's
changed a bit.
They are the ones that stick in your head, aren't they? Warren.
So I've got one answer that isn't really a result and another answer which is a little bit left field because I think 2012 was just horrible and I think we can all agree that was one result we'd definitely like to change. Clattenburg Derby honourable shout as well because that was
Yeah,
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
But the first result I would have changed was just pay the rent. Just pay the rent so they don't exist. Just do that and we don't have the misery we've had for the last however many years. But the actual results, which is a bit of a left field one, I've been to Anfield derbies a few times now. I'll never go again, but I've gone to a couple in the past, and there was one year Dalglish was in charge, second spell, and we went 2-1 up. Distan scored, and Osmond
Beckford
for the second goal. Osmond showed really lovely feet in
ripped it
the
and give it to
box.
Beckford.
Beckford and like I know we say about some goals that go in and away ends and all that, but honest to God, I've never seen
Who
like
was
because you
it
had
that fucked it up, Warren? Who was
hang
it that
on,
fucked
hang
it up?
on, hang on
Who was
before
it?
you hang on,
Wait,
hang
Dave.
on,
Hold you.
hang on, hang
It's
on,
cool, your jets, lad.
hang on. Um, that away end was something else that day because it wasn't just the fact that you'd scored a big goal, which always goes off anyway. It was the fact that there was hatred in that away end, and I was very angry that day, should we say, because it's them and it's Anfield, isn't it? But the keeper who should remain nameless, yeah, cost us the result with the penalty he gave away,
I've
which was
had
horrible
one
because we
bastard.
deserve.
I've had
Hang
one
on,
bastard of
Dave.
a day,
Hang
and
on,
you pulled this
because we
out.
we deserved to win that day as well. We played really well, and that was at that time when they had a really poor squad, and we
Mm.
deserved. We didn't capitalise on it. So yeah, that one I would have changed just because I was there as well. Would have been nice to see a win at Anfield.
Yeah, 100%. Gary said Wembley 2012. I think it changed a lot going into now. If you really want to change history, Clive Thomas one, bastard. Yep, I think there's a lot of fellas of a certain age will agree with that. Mike said the first 4-0, haha, the first fucking hell, under Martinez when we were actually
The
good.
first, though, the
I
way
know.
it's named as the first.
Exactly. And he said he'd also had a couple more goals when we beat them 3-0 in 2006, the one you mentioned, Dave. I think for me, it would be either of the games we lost to them in 1986. So
Mm.
we beat them away at Anfield. Kevin Ratcliffe scored a ridiculous goal at Square and done the Grobbelaar. But we got beat 3-2 at home that season by them. and obviously they beat us in the cup final. So I'd reverse any one of them. So we got a trophy that season because that team deserved one, and they didn't get the double. At the time, I'd have reversed the FA Cup final result because I was a kid and it absolutely broke my heart, especially going 1-0 up and battering them for an hour. But I think now I'd sooner have the league, and I think I'd change that Goodison result. So we beat them twice in the league and we win the league by a point then if that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, either one of them,
Do you know
definitely for
another
me.
one as well, just on the top of my head, the Graham Pole one where it come off
Oh,
John Hutchinson's
yes,
arse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Like
Because
that goal should have stood.
and you know, and that's our banter goal to their Origi goal, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's we. Why can't we get that? They got the Origi one.
yeah.
Why could we not have that?
And he admitted,
They
didn't he,
also
several
He
years
did in the
later,
book.
Graham
He
Poll?
wrote a book after it, yeah, and admitted it.
I saw him in Hong Kong of all the places. I was doing a tournament over there, and he was one of the sort of advisors, and I gave him stick, I gave him shit. I said, you ruined my life as a kid. You should have given that a go. And he went, I always get this off Evertonians, and I was a bit young at the time, and I wish I'd have given more shit than I did. I would have now. If I seen him now, I would give him
And the
loads
cheek
of
of him
hassle.
moaning. Yeah, Pete, were you gonna
Yeah,
say something?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Graham Poll for that, he wrote it in his autobiography, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he said it was the biggest mistake of his career, and he said he
yeah.
should have. He said he actually held his hands up and said he made a mistake. So maybe
Yeah,
he
but
listened to Warren.
do it at the time. Do it at the
Yeah.
time. Don't come out later and
Yeah,
say, "Oh, I
definitely.
made a
Oh,
mistake." Do it
definitely.
at the
Well, it's
time.
like
Do you know,
Clattenburg, innit?
do you
Like
know what I'll never
Clattenburg, innit? That was the most obviously biased referee performance I've ever seen, other than
Yeah.
Helena. But
do you know what I'll
Clattenburg,
never forget about that is when obviously all our players surround Paul, don't they, when it's happened, and he's blew the whistle and he's going like he's shaking their hands as well, which makes it even more infuriated.
Yeah,
Picks up the ball and he goes, "Good game," as if to say,
yeah.
"Do one, I'm
I've
not
blown
doing
the
anything
whistle.
about it."
I've blown the whistle. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Stephen, if you watch it back on Premier League years, I'm a bit of a stickler for watching that whenever it's on. And Stephen Hughes goes up to him and he looks
yeah.
about 5 years old, and he's pointing at him saying, like almost like like your teacher one. It's almost like he's telling the teacher and grassing up on someone like that. And I looked at Stephen Hughes and I was thinking that how shit we were at that stage, and you're
Yeah.
thinking we need something coming off Don Hutchinson's head as he's walking away from their keeper trying to ping one up front.
It
Yeah.
was 0-0 though. It would have been funny. Right, that's all we've got time for because this meeting is going to end in a sec. That's all the derby questions we've got. We'll be back with questions about the weather, Christmas, martial law, and dodgy songs. So we'll be back soon. We are back for part two, and we'll go into it with the hot topic. Best own goal you've ever seen. Warren, what could this story possibly be related to?
Is it our mate, our top scorer? Is it our new top scorer, Mr.
What a way
Dawson?
to crown your 300th appearance for the club.
Did you see the someone put, didn't he? Like Wolves put the tweet up, didn't he, about it was just congratulations to Craig Dawson on his
Yeah.
300th appearance, and then someone quoted it by saying t football tweets that preceded or unfortunate events that preceded whatever the phrase is, you know what I mean? My favourite ever, the one you put in the thumbnail was the one my always go to one.
That's amazing.
It's a brilliant own goal, that. But I'll just briefly go back to, I've told this story on Mailbag before, but it was actually one that I scored. And I think I've said I join in with the kids sometimes in school when they have a little game. We're very fortunate. We've got a 4G surface at the school. So we take the kids out in some of the lessons and they have a game on that. And I was joining in with some of the older lads, year 10 lads. And I've got to that age now, Les, where I'm starting to find the 15-year-old lads are a bit quicker and a bit stronger than me. And I'm not as
15-year-olds
quick,
these days are too big.
mate.
Just don't need to size them.
I'm starting to find that I'm not as quick or as strong as them, whereas I used to be able to more than match them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be better than them. But so I started just taking myself out of situations now where I don't want to embarrass myself. But we're playing this game and they were all giving me stick and they all want to try and tackle me and get me off the ball. And I was holding my own, doing all right, playing quite well. And anyway, one of the lads put a cross in, and I said before, down the corridor of uncertainty, and I'm running back to defend, and I've just stuck a foot out, and it's in one of them not five side, one of them like 7-a-side goals, the ones that are only about my head height,
Oh yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's come off the tip of my right foot. I'm left foot. It's come off the tip of my right foot, hit the crossbar and gone in, and
oh lovely finish though.
I couldn't live that down for the rest. This was in like November. I couldn't live it down till the following July. It was they give me horrendous stick. Sir scored an own goal in our lesson. Missed the jeer about what Sir did. He scored an own goal in our lesson. Didn't you say? And I'm like, oh, shut up. So yeah, that's the best slash worst own goal, my own personal one.
In off the bar though,
I
all the in off
know,
the bars, they all count, they all look good. The
I know.
aesthetics are there.
If I'm gonna, but it was, I did that thing as well where I've dived forward onto my front because my momentum's taken me over. And I look like a clown, honestly. But it was fun. If it was anyone else, it would have been funny. So I can laugh at it now.
Dave,
Do you know, the ones that get me is when like your centre back, typically your centre back or full back, don't even look at where the keeper is. Do you know what I mean? And look, they
Yeah.
yeah.
play it back thinking they stood where they expect them to be, and they're just like some of the parts just
I keep
outside
I keep
reaching the
thinking
other.
that with Pickford lately, because he's coming
Yeah,
so far out. I'm just
Yeah,
yeah,
waiting for Tarkovsky to just turn around and swat it back towards the goal.
yeah,
you've
yeah,
jinxed it
yeah.
for tomorrow now.
Oh,
There
that's how
you
we
go.
lose,
Yeah,
isn't it? Oh
yeah.
shit.
But I don't know if you remember, sort of mid to late '90s, Frank Sinclair of Leicester went through a spell. I'm not joking, of doing it about 3 or 4 times
Yeah,
in a series of months, and he gets it round about it. His team's playing like high up, and the amount of times he got it back, and he'd think the keeper, what was his name?
Walker
Casey Keller was their keeper
Casey
at the
Kelly. Yeah,
God,
time. Do you
yeah.
remember him? The
Yeah.
American, best American ever. That's been the finest goalkeeper that there's ever been. He tries to knock it back to him. I'm not joking. Google it. I'm sure he scores like 3 or 4 own goals that are all similar to that throughout the season. But the other one as well to throw in, since it's the spirit of the derby, was Carragher scored 2 against Man United. 2 own goals against Man United. If you remember that one as well, I think that was late '90s, maybe the early noughties when he
yeah.
scored that.
Off
But he
Beckham
was
free kicks or something, wasn't he? Yeah,
that yeah, I think that's right. And it's astonishing. I was just looking at the list of how many own goals a lot have scored. Like Richard Dunn scored 10 own goals. I just got 10 own goals.
I know a thingy. Who said that? I think Tangled Up and Blue said that. Yeah, former Blue and Ireland stalwart Richard Dunn was good for an own goal or three, but can't
Jagielka's done seven.
think of a favourite. Has he?
Yeah, seven. It says on this list here. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris said
didn't.
any of Carragher's 7 own goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I've just remembered one there. Do you remember Olaf Melberg, the Villa throw against Birmingham?
was
Oh
that
no, no,
Encoming in goal?
that's it.
Yeah.
What?
Do you
Well,
know
made
that
it,
should? Do you know that
that's a
shouldn't have
great
stood?
memory. That keeper.
That shouldn't have
Did it
stood
touch the studs?
because you're
Yeah,
not
it did.
allowed for him to score directly from a throw,
No.
are you? And
But
it didn't
yeah, there
touch
was
the
all
studs.
sorts like obviously they didn't have the tech we do in these days. Like even though it was what
Mm.
20 odd years ago, this wasn't it? It was like '05, '06 or something like that, wasn't it? And it was Enkelburn in goal,
Excellent, yeah.
Enkelburn in
Peter
goal.
Enkelman. Yeah.
And they stepped on saying like in the newspapers and all that, there'd just be a blurred image that it did actually hit one of one of the studs, and
Yeah.
it did count. And like there was an argument over it. It's much like it is these days with VAR, like that Cody goal I was talking about.
I always liked the one as well. The show it on Soccer AM. Do you remember Jamie Pollock for Man City, where he's done keepy up, he's chested it and then headed it right over the keeper's head into the goal.
Yeah.
It was such a good finish.
Chris Lee said that. Jamie Pollock, always Jamie
Jamie
Pollock,
Pollock.
and sent me a clip of it. It's the way, it's the chip over, it's the Gaza 96 chip over
Yeah.
the attacker, and then just
just-
nods it in.
He's probably thinking I'm calm and composed here and I'm a cultured centre half. Head it back to the keeper and
Yeah.
it's just looped and gone in.
See,
Brilliant.
this is the Man City we need. This is the Man City we remember. Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Not this new incarnation of him.
Yeah.
Couple of people, TWS, and I want to say Liam, maybe. No, Gary. Think no, Liam. Sorry, yeah, both said David Vaughan for Sunderland in the Cup in 2012.
Yeah, good show.
Liam said possibly the best bounce he's been in. The thing I love about that is the way he's just stumbling to the floor and his trailing leg just kicks it in and he just collapses and
Well,
it's so hapless.
if you want an image of my own goal that I described just then, that's what it was like, but mine hit the bar and went in. So
Yeah.
I was the David Vaughan of my school there.
But it was the funniest, the ironic thing about that was Yelovich absolutely cocks it up. because he's through one on
He's
one,
through,
isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going out for a goal kick. And
Yeah.
then he goes, "How well we played that day. Do you know what? Because it was obviously to get them bastards
Yeah.
in the semi-finals, and it was the replay. I think it's one of the finest away performances I've ever seen from us. Even though we didn't win it like 4-5-0 or whatever, but remember the just Gay about 2 minutes in plays this brilliant ball into Yelovich when it was just that one touch finish. Sort of type of scenario
Oh,
that we
it was
had for
Magai Gay,
several
wasn't
months.
it? In that
Yeah,
game.
and yeah, he whips it in across the deck, and Yelovich amazing finish outside the
Yeah.
foot into the
Is that
bottom
what?
corner.
Is that when Moyes came out and said Magai Gay's my secret weapon, and he didn't do a thing again for Everton?
Didn't play him
Yeah.
ever again, yeah.
Did he play in the? Did he play in the semi? He played in the start in the semi, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't think he ever
I think
did
he
anything of
did.
any note, though, did he?
He
I
might,
think he did
yeah, he
start that
might have, because that
semi-final
was
against
all.
them.
That was when Trent didn't start, did he? And we all wanted
Oh,
Trent
yeah.
to start, but he wouldn't.
Was that the alleged? Was he just late for the bus on that one, or was that the alleged Finch Farm pool incident?
I think it was a bit of all of that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the way it came out, like you couldn't possibly start him for whatever happened.
Dice.
Moyes,
Drenthe.
yeah,
Trent.
Trent, yeah.
Yeah. Christ.
Yeah.
Top shagger, apparently. Gary said Sammy Hippier in the Clattenburg derby. Special mention to Neil Ruddock because he scored the first Everton derby goal that he witnessed live. This has come full circle all over the shop, this
What was
podcast,
that one,
isn't
Les? Sorry, say it again.
it? The Neil Ruddock one
Yeah, that was
for
class. That.
us. Paul said, and this is even before my time, best own goal, it sounds sensational though. Best own goal has to be Mick Lyon's halfway line special in the untelevised derby at Anfield. Halfway line.
Did you
He
did
was
you
in
ever
the
see
main
the
stand with
story?
that lot. A red mate was on holiday and gave him his season tickets. Christ. Best one in the right goal was Sansom's last minute winner in the cup tie, which was followed by another OG. I don't remember that.
Who was the defender we had in the 60s who scored a diving
Sandy
header own
Brown,
goal? Sandy Brown,
the
that was
diving
it.
head at the street end.
Yeah, yeah.
Heartbreaking that.
That Mick
Yeah.
Lyons one though, he said on the old official Everton history video, the
Oh yeah.
VHS,
Yeah.
he did the story, didn't he, where he said this Evertonian singing and dancing around him, and all the fellas are going, "Can't you leave him alone? Can't you see he's the short?" And the fella went, "Yeah, but I had him 100-1 to score the first goal or something." So he said, if I didn't make any Evertonians day, at least I made one. He said, so, yeah, it was a good story that.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be that Wayne Hatswell one I put in the as the gift for the
Thumbnail,
tweet. Well, I think it's probably round 2 or round 1 of the FA Cup against
Yeah.
Morecambe and Forest Green, and the panic to just lash it into the
The
stanchion,
stanchion.
from
Oh,
like
you
just
talking
in the
about that one where he's trying to blast it away?
when he's trying to
Yeah.
blast it over and he just toes it into the stanchion.
What game was
Absolutely.
that?
Forest Green v Morecambe in the FA Cup, round 1 or 2, or 2001 or
It was
something, I
early
think.
2000s, yeah.
Yeah.
It was early 2000s.
Oh, it was
Never
amazing.
scored a goal like it before.
Oh, it was the stanchion that makes it so good.
Yeah.
Bit of freaking talk. I don't think we're probably the right people to ask this, but Rollo's asked. These are some from Blue Sky now, by the way. Why is the Premier League taking so long to ratify the freaking takeover?
Yeah. Well,
It needs doing sooner rather than later, doesn't it? I'm waiting to see how these fellas can mess it up, because there's a bit of chaos at Roma at the minute, isn't there? But hopefully they'll just mess it up a little bit less than the current fella has.
Yeah, as long as
all
it's
right.
a little bit of progress, not messing it up quite as much. I really don't know anything about what's going on. I've been very far removed from this. I've not really taken any notice and just assumed it's going to happen this month. But
well, I mean, it's the precedents that have been set by other clubs. To be honest with you, I mean, you look at what's going on in Manchester City, which is taking forever. The Premier League are trying to be as strict as they possibly can for clubs being taken over. Sorry to sound boring to everybody who tunes in for the mailbag for a bit of a laugh.
no, it's a question been asked and you've got an answer. So
Yeah, so I mean, I won't bang on for it for too long, but you look at the recent history of clubs that have been bought out. You think you remember when I do forget his name, who took over at Portsmouth, and that went to shit.
Milan
You think
Mandaric.
yeah, him, that went to shit there. You think of Manchester City's original new owner, and again I forgot his name.
Attacking Sinawatra.
Sinawatra.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember the one that was at West Ham, bald fella, and his name was
Egerton.
Yeah, him. these various ones that have
Fucking
happened.
banging the names out here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's done his research on this, hasn't he? To cry if we don't get taken over. But then, in more recent times, you look at 888, you look at MSP, who were sort of seemed a little bit lukewarm to even come and get us 777. That looked like it was going to be the thing that happens that we none of us wanted it to happen, and thankfully it hasn't. But the reason why these things don't happen is pure between what the clubs see when they go behind closed doors and see what this is about with these places. And then ultimately the Premier League, given this financial situation in loads of them, what happened with us last season, what happened with Forest, Leicester might still happen as well.
Yeah.
All that shit's going on. All that shit's going on with Manchester City. So the Premier League, um, ironically against us, won't just simply say, "Do you know what, lads? You look all right. Is we'll sign on the dotted line. You crack on at Everton, and we'll see how it goes." They're just going to push it back as far as they possibly can to make sure they've checked literally every single letter that's in that
Yeah.
the documents that need to be signed for this to
I,
happen.
I've got it in my head that 8 weeks, like 8 weeks is a figure, and it was about 2 months ago, wasn't it, when it was
Yeah, it was
announced
due to be
we
about
were
now,
taking
wasn't
it.
it?
Yeah, so the predictions around about now fit into that timescale. I've got 8 weeks in my head for some reason that that's how
Signing
long it
players, I
normally
mean,
takes.
I think it's a bit of a taboo subject for many of us because we certainly haven't covered it, probably for the obvious reasons mainly. But people are thinking, well, if they get in immediately, that means we're opening the door to a brand new bank to go and
No, it
sign
won't be,
players
will
in
it?
January. That's absolutely not the case at all.
Yeah.
There's various financial blocks that need to be sorted out before they're able to come and do that. Yeah, okay, maybe go and get a couple of loans, which is what January's typical for, isn't it?
Yeah.
But by no means, I don't think anybody should think that when these sign in, they're going to go and do what Machiri did in
I
his
think,
first time at the club.
yeah, I think it just gives us that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, of course it does, yeah, and is a positive because the more time it gets between no announcements being that they're not buying us, then that's the better I start
Yeah.
to feel about it.
Mm.
And I think that's sort of, not to tell anyone what to think, but that's sort of the feeling I think you probably should have, that it's going
Yeah.
to happen. The longer it goes with silence means the more likely it's going to be.
But it's Everton, so the light at the end of the tunnel will be the
Exactly.
light of an oncoming train.
Yeah.
Um, Chris has asked or told us to substitute your Christmas dinner for a different meal. What are you having? No George Jerry's allowed, Dave.
You can go first one.
I've done this actually in the past. I've not had my Christmas dinner and I'd like something else, but I don't know, I'd have fajitas. I like fajitas. Do something a bit different. Yeah, I'm not a big Christmas lover, and I'm not a big one for stuffing my face with all the Christmas tradition. I went to America for Christmas a couple of years ago, and they don't do because they do all the turkey stuff for Thanksgiving, don't they? So that was different. That was more of like a smoked barbecue type deal
That
going on
sounds.
that Christmas. So that was decent. Yeah,
That sounds good. I could
yeah,
do that. Yeah.
yeah.
Or pizza. Always pizza for me.
Mm.
Dave?
Scrooge there, down south. I'd change it. No, I'm not a fan of roast dinners, which is effectively what Christmas dinner is, isn't it? It's just a bit more of a glorified roast dinner. I'm not a massive fan of that. I'd have a steak. I'd have a really nice like meat feast, something like that. It probably involve. I mean, it probably makes it easier, doesn't it? Everybody else who wants to have a Christmas dinner, they'll have turkey, chicken, whatever it is they get involved with it. Beef. I'd happily take that. Add on to my fillet steak or Chateaubriand, which is what a little bit of the posh version of steak
Hello.
which I'm gonna go and have for my birthday, which but it's ridiculously high priced. That's the type of thing that I'd have for Christmas dinner. But you've got absolutely no
That's a shout.
chance. You'd have absolutely no chance in most places, I would imagine, because nobody's
Yeah.
gonna say, "I've." When you get somebody in the family who wants something different, or a vegan, for instance, in your family, that's about as far as people will push. If you then start saying you want something particular for you, like
Yeah.
the fajitas there that Warren said, someone will turn to you and say, behave, will you? And no one's asked about doing that for you.
Christmas dinner Pasenda. There's an idea. That would be good.
Like Christmas dinners, though, Les, in general.
Yeah, yeah. Love them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Christmas always went downhill after Christmas dinner for me. It's like that was like, oh well, it's over now, isn't it? I'm
Yeah,
a miserable get, aren't I?
Oh, I am as well.
I am. I am.
Sorry to go off on a tangent here, but we've been having chaos over our Christmas tree. Which have you put yours up? That should have been a question. Have you put yours up yet?
It's there. It's ready to be decorated tonight.
So Haley decides to get one because we had one for years, so we got rid of it after last year. Decides to get a new one. She goes on Amazon, gets one for 70 quid. And I'm thinking, yeah, that'll do. 7 foot, fine. So she's bought it, it comes, it gets delivered in the box, and she goes, I said, when do you want to do it? Like, we'll have a nice day of it, maybe, mulled wine, whatever, do it ourselves and that. And she goes, I say that like we hire someone in to do it. No, we're going to stand there and do it, all afternoon and whatnot, make a day of it. And she goes, oh, we're not having that one. And I said, why? She went, I've just been back and looked at the reviews on Amazon and, it only got 3 out of 5. And I'm like, what are you on about? She was, yeah, we're getting another one. So, the place, the range,
Yeah.
it's like B&M kind of. So we went there and she goes, right, we're going to get a new tree. And I'm fuming, right? Basically because they throw the 70 quid at it. When you send it back, it takes ages to get your money back and all that crap. Went in there and she's going, oh, can we get that one? Can we get this one? I'm like, I'm not paying that much. There was like £300 Christmas trees here.
No.
So I'm looking at it and she's going, each time, every tree we go to, she's going, but that's got holes in it. There's holes in it. I said, when have you ever seen a tree that's a fucking block? It's a tree. There's, a tree, famous golf saying, the tree is 90% air. You know what I mean? There's gaps in it for the reason that you get your decorations like you're gonna do and throw it all on there. It doesn't look like there's holes in it then.
You don't spend that much money on
well, no,
something
right.
for a couple of weeks.
By no means,
at best.
by no means am I anywhere near well off, right? We ended up paying 200 quid for this fucking tree. And it's because of all the tips. She's feeling the tips on it and all that. I'm like,
I hope it lasts you about 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, this was her argument to me, is that, it's an investment, isn't it, for things that go on. I'm saying, well, do you know what? I'd rather I'd go as far as saying I'd go and get a new one for like 50 quid every summer because I begrudge paying 200 quid on the spot for a new Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And then she starts going off on the colours, the themes, and all this shit. And I'm like, nah, I can't be doing with that. I'll leave you to it.
This leads us nicely into Chris's question. What's the most unnecessary purchase you've ever made that you absolutely do not regret? Obviously not the Christmas tree. Mine's probably every pair of trainees I buy. I really don't need any more trainees, but I don't regret buying more.
Yeah, loads and loads of golf balls, like shitloads of golf balls.
Can't have too many.
I don't know, and tees. I love golf. I'm getting tees as well, like golf tees, and they'll last me for years. But I'll still go and get some more. Other things quite boring: socks and bills.
See, I look forward to that on Christmas. My mum always gets me socks and undies.
And let's go back to the old favourite, Lynx Africa.
There we go.
Warren, is that a thing down south? Is Lynx Africa a thing down south?
It's. I spend some periods of my day in PE changing rooms, and the smell is of Lynx all the time. So yeah,
Lynx Africa, and my mum would get it every year. It used to be a running joke in our family. My nephew, he's now in his mid-20s. Ever since he was like 5 years old, she'd wrap it as well. Because she got the shower gel with it. It's in like a neat box, or like a normal box, like that. And she'd wrap it up. So when he's getting his presents, she's like, "Oh, what's this? What's this?" It's Lynx Africa for the £5 and boots. What's good?
Or in any unnecessary purchases that you don't regret?
I'm a bit like you with the trainees and hoodies and tracksuit bottoms because I just love comfort. Like I love sitting in comfort. If I go out, I'm not putting jeans to go to the shop. Like I'm going to put a pair of trackies on. So the more trackies, the better. I love anything like that. And an Everton season ticket.
Of course. Yeah. You can't have too much clobber and you need an Everton season ticket.
Yeah.
So,
the half season ticket, that was the one.
Oh yeah. That was off the first one I got with the kids.
90 quid ticket. It was 90 quid if you were a kid.
Yeah, bargain.
That was 2002.
And they used to take the piss out of us for that, and I never understood it.
I know. The reason why, because my dad did it. You know, when you get a new foot, when we were sponsored for that one season by T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And they were on the front of our kit for games.
Yeah.
You could get, if you got one on credit, T-Mobile, you got an Everton season ticket with it. And that's
incredible. Like
that's why they took the piss out of us. That is why you got ripped apart for that. I mean, Dad went and did it, and I'm thinking, do you know what, Dad, nice one there.
Yeah.
Because that was when you decided to get in debt to get me an Everton season ticket. Fair play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, T-Mobile bought out 1-1, didn't he? That's what that
Yeah.
was. Mad.
What's
Right.
1-1 now? It's EE now, isn't it?
Think so, yeah.
T-Mobile 1-1 EE.
Maggie's round. After the pleasantries of Wednesday night, when have you expected the absolute worst and then out of absolutely nowhere experienced transcendental joy? This is where, to go back to earlier, I come back to Henderson's disallowed goal in the COVID derby, the Van Dijk Pickford derby. That was utter despair into unbridled joy.
Yeah. Are we talking football here or talking
Whatever,
anything?
anything.
Whatever. Um,
Yeah, it's a tough one.
unbridled joy after expecting the worst. Oh,
Getting a C
there
in
must
maths for me as well at
Yeah, it's
with
good.
GCSE.
what?
Getting a C in
Getting C in
GCSE maths.
maths. Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
got
a
a
good
C.
one.
Yeah.
I never had to do it again. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Do
that's it. I
you know
mean,
what?
from a
Sorry, go on, go on.
footballing point of view, it's got to go. I'll go back to it again. It's the Bournemouth game, last game of the season,
Mm.
and
Oh yeah.
it wasn't unbridled joy. It was more relief than joy. But for a long time, I thought we're
I
down, we're
wasn't
down.
nervous that game at all, you know. It was weird.
No, the ones before were the ones for me. Like, I didn't. I
Mm.
thought we'd do Bournemouth. We did it the hard way, as typical
Yeah,
style.
I mean, it
You're
was,
still shitting
yeah.
yourself when you 1-0 up.
I just don't know why I wasn't nervous going to that game and watching it. It was just, it was weird.
It was. I remember at half time, everyone singing and dancing, but and we were at that point we were in the relegation zone. But I think it was more like what you've just said there, Dave. The when we go 1-0 up, and then we had that 10 minutes of added on time,
Oh God, yeah,
Petrified.
that was bad.
like
Yeah,
that into
that was
when the
bad.
whistle went. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Josh King
that
as
was
well.
all.
Josh King was ready to slot.
Oh,
he was.
but
Yeah,
Bournemouth turned into Brazil 1970, didn't he? For the last 10 minutes, they just did everything they could, and you're like, what are you doing?
yeah. I had actually blocked out that injury time.
Yeah,
Christ,
Yeah.
that was bad. Yeah, what a shout,
horrible. Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, I think in general it's a sad thing. I know Reds listen to this and they're probably laughing their heads off when you say this, but you think about '98 as well with Howard. Those ones where you're like when it happens and then you're running on the pitch and all that sort of thing. Not in the ridiculous way it happens now where you run on the pitch whenever you can kind of thing. That was pure passion,
Yeah,
relief, given how shocking we were, given that it was Howard, the sentiment with Howard and all that at that particular time. That to me was like, don't ever want ever. How often do we say it? Never again, never again, never again, and it always happens again.
yeah,
That sort of thing for me, where I feel after it, like we're talking about memories of sides where of times we've been shit more so than we're talking about Everton's success. That's what we are. That's the thing that in our time, lads, or certainly mine and Warren's time, where Everton have been predominantly shite, yet being able to just about scrape your way out of it, which we
yeah,
have done. There's a euphoria when that happens, and I guess like I said, if Reds who do listen to this will be thinking, "Do you know what? You take the piss out of us and all that." But I tell you what, until it's happened to you, you'll never know. And I'm not saying that that's something you want to happen, but
yeah. But
you know
it's
what
a
I mean, how it
very,
feels.
very different feeling, isn't it? Not one I'd recommend, but it is.
And
It's
No.
yeah.
when you referred to with your GCSEs there, or would it be O levels back in your day, Les?
It was
Um,
GCSE cheeky get.
was it? Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
it
they were
was.
still. I didn't know they were still going in the '60s.
GCSE started about 5 years before I started high school.
What, '74?
No, not 5 years. A couple of years before I started, about 4 years before I started high
Oh,
school, I think.
really?
About 1986.
Yeah.
I'm
Um, I
gonna
ended up
find out.
going to uni. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I left college. Decent at English and loved history. Still love history. Love it. I went and did English and history degree at University of Liverpool. Um, and I was like, why have I done this? And like, I don't know, a month in, I was like, what have I done with my future here? Um, Jibbed it off, and I went and did. So my mate, I'm not joking. I worked in Screwfix part time. And my mate said to me, why don't you go and do like a journalism thing? And I was like, behave, I'm not going to do journalism. He said, well, you're always talking about the footy, you write bits and pieces about it and all that. I said, why don't you go and do it? So I thought, you know what, I will do. Didn't really want to, didn't want to take the plunge into doing so, but went and did journalism. And lo and behold, radio, which I had no interest in whatsoever. Because when you went to uni, journalism. It was either writing or it was either that or telly. Predominantly writing, most people went for. And in our group for radio, I think out of like 100 odd people in there, there was only 4 of us who did radio. And then, dare to say it, we might be sitting here on the mailbag these days if we didn't go and do that. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh,
those moments
would
when
have
you
been.
think, why would I ever want to cope with the radio? The radio is it's like the ugly cousin of media, but you wouldn't be without it. I'd champion anybody who wants to go and do it still, because I mean, you lads there got you on 5 Live and all. You know, it's huge. It's much bigger
Yeah.
than what people ever take credit for with that, because it's an old-fashioned way, because it's been going since 1600s or whatever it is when they first made a form of communications. Yeah, so that was where I thought, this is, I'm just not going to be. I mean, my life's going nowhere going into uni, yet I ended up falling in love with radio. Bit weird when something like that happens, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff though. As you say, you wouldn't be here without it. 1988 GCSE is the year I started high school.
Behave.
Um, what?
You were, you were, how old you saying in 88 you were?
I was
12?
11 in 1988.
Were you?
Yes.
I'm not having this.
Um,
Hang on, you were
so,
born in 77.
yeah, so I was 11 in 88.
That makes me feel better knowing you were born in 77.
Maggie's also said she had a Mackey's sweet and sour sauce mishap the other day. What's the saddest you've ever been putting your hand into your coat pocket?
Oh God, I've put my hand in before thinking it was like I had 20 quid in there and it was a receipt from Asda.
Oh, that's
That's
bad.
devastating.
It's the way you've
I
just said
actually,
that, the way you've just said, I put my hand in there, like it was a proper, proper bad thing to do. I've put my hand in there.
I did. I thought, when you think you've got cash left over, this was in the days when we all used cash, obviously. I put my hands in and it was a receipt instead. I was devastated.
Yeah, that was good. I once put my hand in and my pockets and pulled out child's underwear.
Same thing. I once put my hand in
Yeah,
like it was
I did.
like a box
Yeah,
that you put your hand in. You have to feel what it was like on
Dave,
I'm a Celebrity or something.
when you stood in the pub with work colleagues and you put your hand in your pocket and you pull out kids' undies,
Yeah,
it's a bit like,
bit suspect. Yeah,
yeah, a little bit. So, full disclosure, they were my own child's undies, and I'd put them in there when he was potty training one time and forgot about them. But it was a very, very inopportune moment to pull them out.
yeah,
Yeah, it took some stick for that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dave?
I've had a couple of times when, again, actually a food related thing where you think you think you've forgotten something going to the shop or something like that, and you'll think, oh, I can't believe I haven't brought that. I like, it sounds boring this, but coffee. Bit obsessed with coffee these days. Not a particular type here. I'm not really fussed. I just have a coffee in the morning. It'll get you going and all that with the caffeine. And the amount of times I'll get like the tiny ones that you put in on actually like jug of coffee. I'll just get the little tiny ones, you know what I mean? That you
Yeah.
can put in and all that. So I'll come back from the shop fuming, absolutely fuming with myself. I'll ring that swoosh that they do now if anyone uses it.
What's that?
Swoosh where you can.
Oh, yeah, Tesco thing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
like Tesco's version of a Uber. Do you know what I mean? You get someone to come around to yours, but it's silly because it costs a lot of money
Yeah.
because you're paying for the delivery. And I've done that where I've been like, you fucking idiot, and then I've gone into my pocket and completely forgot, which made me think like there's something seriously wrong. I shouldn't laugh epilepsy wise, just forgetting things. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. How did I not realise I had a load of those little tubes of coffee in my pocket there? Got them out and I sat there thinking, I've just paid 20 quid to get a
Why,
dozen little tubes of fucking coffee and paid some fella to come to ours from Just Eat or whatever.
why are we carrying them around with you? Just,
Because I didn't get bother getting a bag. I'm just throwing.
oh,
I'm on
okay.
about. I'm on about. When you get
shoplifting again, Dave. Is that what you're saying?
the stuff when you get sugar, little sugars in
Yeah.
Yeah,
coffee
the
or
little
whatever.
sachets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
Okay,
Sachets are
fair
what I'm
enough.
looking for. Yeah,
Got you.
so I just get a load of them, with Nescafe in or whatever, and I just put them in. I wasn't nicking them, just to be clear.
Okay.
I just put them in my pocket after I bought them. Do you know, because it costs money for a fucking bag now. That's another thing. Why are we having to pay money for a plastic bag? Even to do it in Aldi now as well.
Well, yeah, so it's to
Use your
discourage it,
bags
isn't
for
it?
life.
Get
Yeah,
yourself a
use
tote
your
bag.
bag
30p,
Yeah.
30p
Yeah,
at
but
Tesco's.
it's to discourage it, isn't it? You should use tote bags instead.
Yeah.
Save the planet, man. Save the planet, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
We need to
Les is
stop
getting his,
billionaires flying private jets, really, but that's
Les
another
getting his
story.
veggie Christmas dinner now.
I
Eating it off the
might
floor.
I might do veganuary this year. Anyway, right, we've got time for one more. I think I'll finish with Matt. Sorry, Maggie, we haven't got through yours. I will ask them next time because they will still be relevant.
And I hope this is the question. I hope what Matt. I've been preparing for this with Matt. Go
So,
on.
Matt Lusk, we have got 4 minutes 36 seconds
Oh,
left.
yeah.
Matt has asked, what song do you really like, but it's a bit embarrassing to admit? Not a guilty pleasure, more a dirty secret. His is Rather Be by Clean
Clean
Bandit and Jess
Bandits.
Glynn.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is, but it sounds terrible.
You
Mine
do.
is
You do know clean. You do know Rather Be.
I probably don't.
You do.
I'll see. Mine is Turtle Power by Partners in Crime. It was from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. It's
Yeah.
incredibly bad, but I love it. Warren will do yours, and then we'll finish on Dave's for this because it will be a
Well,
do.
can you go to Dave first, just because I
Okay,
did see this question by Matt, and I have got some on my playlist, but I just need to have a quick look through to
go ahead.
decide which one it is. So go with Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
Wrecking Ball by Miley
Miles.
Cyrus, Miles Cyrus, and don't know if you remember this. Perfect Gentleman by Wyclef.
Oh, it's a great tune,
Oh
that.
no.
There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah, but
yeah.
it's you'd never hear that. Well, you probably would now, given the 18s that you see from songs these days. But yeah, you think back to them when you were in school, you were like, it's got swearing words in that one. That's a belter.
Oh God, so I mean I'm way behind the curve here, but I listened to the first Azalea Banks record I've ever listened to the other day. Jesus, that's a bit blue, isn't it? Bloody hell.
It's
I
funny
was
when you get older, you think, can't believe me, man. Let me listen to this.
Yeah.
Christ alive, yeah, I had to have a sit down. Bloody hell. Warren.
Do you know what? In the absence of me finding one at the minute, I have got a load of the I love listening to loads of like the the songs that they sing on The Simpsons. So I've got like the monorail song on my playlist and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But do you know, I don't know, like I'm just looking through here now. I've actually quite got a decent little eclectic mix here, I've not got the worst songs here. I have got one right, so I've just found it now on my playlist. It's called Honky Tonk Badonkadonk, and it's by a
Jesus.
fella called Trace Adkins, and it's about shaking your backside in a honky tonk bar. So that's my one. It's got a good little hook to it. So I'll if no one's probably heard of that song before, but if you go and listen to it, it's it's crap, but it's a good listen. So there you go.
And the subject matter sounds a little bit like Azalea Banks, but
Just
without the blue.
just
Yeah,
one quick
it's
one, because I know we're going now, but Shake That by Eminem, where it's got one of the best lyrics in the song as well. You get more arse than a toilet seat. Absolute belter. Absolute belter.
Right.
yeah.
There is no better way to finish the mailbag than on something like that. So as I said, if I didn't get to your questions this week, Maggie, I think it was just a few of yours. I will definitely get to them next week. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. Thanks to Warren. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Pete, although he couldn't join us for the second half, unfortunately. Hopefully the game will go ahead tomorrow. Hopefully we win. We don't know yet. But anyway, as ever, up the toffees. We'll catch you next time on Mailbag.